Biohazard Brothers Podcast.
Welcome back, fellow survivors, to another episode of the Biohazard Brothers Podcast. I am your host, Kenjira80. This is my co-host and my friend, Colin255.
Oh,
Welcome back, Colin.
what's up, man?
Oh, good. Today we have a very exciting episode, but before we get there, we want to tell the listeners that we appreciate those who give us a listen, and we by no means claim to be experts in Resident Evil or the lore of it, but we do make the claim that we are big fans of the games, and we from time to time might get things wrong. So I would like to issue some clarifications and some corrections with the Marvin mod that I spoke about when we talked about the Resident Evil 2 game, that it comes from Outbreak File 2 and not the Umbrella Chronicles. And we were talking about the Claire run. I finally figured out what that is because I never did Claire A. So you have to make the vaccine yourself
Yeah.
instead of having a net do it. And I was like, what is this for?
Yeah.
But now I know.
Yeah.
So we got that out of the way.
Yep. And there's also some things I wanted to talk about, this stuff that we forgot to mention too, right, from RE1 and 2. And I know there's some stuff that I personally want to say, and that your buddy Carl mentioned that we didn't bring up, and I can't believe we didn't bring it up. But the very first jump scare in RE1, the when you go through the hallway after using, if you're Jill, you're using a lockpick. If you're Chris, you're using a key. It's the hallway with the windows and the dogs jump through. The shit was so insanely terrifying, like the first time ever playing it. And I can't believe we didn't bring it up because that's right at the very beginning. So
the fucking dogs.
It's got to be one of the most terrifying moments, just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
He brought that up in the comment.
Yeah.
And thanks, Carl, because I know you're probably going to watch this, for mentioning that. That was one of the most profound moments, or it was one of the real moments that was like, oh, we're in for some real crazy shit in this game. Especially, and he brought that up in a comment, and he was like, what really got me was the dogs. And I'm like, I can't believe we didn't talk about the dogs.
I couldn't believe it,
because that's a huge moment.
We can't think of everything, if we literally talk about everything in every game, these podcasts would be like 4 hours long then. So
right,
we can't talk about everything, but that was a crazy thing to miss.
We try to keep it short.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're just two friends that really love these games. We're by no means experts on all the lore and every aspect. Well, we like to fancy ourselves sort of knowledgeable on it, but for those who've never recorded a podcast, sometimes whenever you're recording and you're going off the cuff like we do, it's hard to remember everything and it's hard to get things right without some notes. So we're learning as we go.
Yeah, but there's a couple other things, if you don't mind. One from
go ahead.
One from Resident Evil in general, like old school Resident Evil, like the door openings. We didn't ever talk about the door openings, and I know that's not really a big deal, but I always thought as a kid it was really cool watching. Like when you open a door, you get to watch the actual door open, like the door loading screens and stuff, and ladders and stairs and all that kind of stuff. But I always really liked that in RE1, 2, and 3, and Code Veronica. They all had the door openings. And
because it adds to the suspense.
What's going to be on the next side? Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And
even though that's really just a feature for loading the next scene.
That's true, but that's one other thing I wanted to mention from RE2 is that's what you feel like in RE1. That's exactly all it is, and it is like that in RE2 also. Except I don't know if you remember or have ever seen this because it's definitely an optional thing, but there is a door in RE2 original where you go through it, and it's just the normal door opening loading screen, and then there's two zombies there, still in the door loading cutscene that are coming at you. And that was also one of the like craziest moments from RE2. It's something you don't have to see. You can easily beat the game without seeing it though. So you might be wondering what the hell I'm talking about. To be
Yeah,
honest,
I am wondering.
I'll have to
Is
show
it
it to you.
okay?
It's when you get to you, you know the room where you pick up the valve on like Leon A or Claire A. It's
The red
or,
valve
or
that you
maybe that
use.
or maybe that's Claire. Maybe it's B scenario. It's one of the scenarios that it's on that. It's in
Okay,
that. It's that room that you pick it up though,
I
and
yeah, I know the room
and then
in
like
the valve you're talking about.
but it okay like the roof. Okay. Better. You remember the roof and the helicopter crash on the roof. You remember that
Hmm.
part? Well, when you go downstairs from there and then go into the one room that has it's just a square room. It's that room. If you try to go out to the other side of that room, it opens up and then
Hmm.
there's two zombies there walking towards you. In the door like loading screen cutscene. Yeah,
Wow, I'll
and then
have to try to find
yeah.
that.
Oh, you can easily find it on YouTube or whatever. But I couldn't believe
Yes,
I forgot to mention that too because that was also one of the craziest moments from
and
RE2.
that's from the original
The
cut,
original RE2.
or both of them, and the DualShock edition. It can be found in both.
Yeah. Well, I'm 99.9% sure. I don't want to say
Just
I'm pretty
covering your
yes, I'm
ass
pretty
as always.
yes, it's from the original, yes. And DualShock.
Okay.
Um yeah, I
Well,
couldn't believe I that oh, and there's one other thing too. Sorry.
okay. Yeah.
Finding Brad in RE2. We didn't mention that and how
Oh yeah,
awesome
yeah,
that is
yeah.
and how it connects to RE3 cuz
But that can only be done if you're playing on a normal difficulty with and not easy. And I'm not sure about the DualShock. I just got the DualShock edition, so I'm sure you probably can
it's
do it on
mostly the
arranged,
same.
but I don't know. I will know when I play it. But yes, you can find Brad if you do not collect any handgun bullets or the shotgun or bow gun
Is that what it is? I
off of
actually forget
Kendo.
because it's been a while.
Yes,
But yeah,
you
yeah.
can't collect any
Eddie
pickups
Pickett's
at
at all.
all
Yeah.
from
Okay.
the to the till you get to
But
him.
yeah, that I
So
always
and
thought
then
that
after
was
that
cool
you're good.
because if you did that back in the day, like we never in RE2 we've never seen Brad before. At least did we ever see Brad before RE2? Maybe like in the booklet or something, but
Uh,
like in the game
I mean,
though.
other than the live action
Yeah, like
movie,
I don't think we ever saw. So it's like, who the
I
hell
don't
is this
think
guy?
so.
But then it connects when
He's
RE.
just on the radio.
Yeah, but when you play RE3, it connects. Like
And I'm not
you
even
find out
entirely sure
how.
if he's in the live action
I don't.
movie.
I don't. Yeah. No, it's
I'm not entirely
when
sure.
he is. Well, Chris yells at him, "No, don't go,"
Yeah.
because he flies
Yeah.
away like a little coward.
Oh God, Charlie Kraslavsky, we love you.
Hell yes, all of
um,
you in the live actions.
anything else?
Well,
Absolutely, we love all of you. Greg too. Greg too.
uh, one
Very
other
Barry
thing, yeah.
Burton.
The when Ada near the end. Spoiler alert for RE2. Near the end, when Ada has her gun on you, I can't believe I didn't mention this. That this is actually it's not a big thing. It's just something I personally liked. In the original, as she has her gun on Leon because she wants the virus and Leon finds out how she actually is, and then she gets shot by a net and she falls over. You remember?
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
one little detail I always liked is when you check her gun that's on the floor, it says that it's empty. There was no bullets in there, so she was never gonna shoot you. And that detail kind of wasn't in the remake. So that's the last thing I wanted to say is I kind of liked it.
It wasn't in the
Well,
remake,
yeah.
was it?
There's no like you don't check that. I always like the detail of him finding out like, man, there was actually no bullets in her gun. She was never gonna shoot
Well,
me.
I think they
I think
did
she really
that
cared.
because she kind of just lowers the gun and then like
That's true. That's true.
no
And
knows. Yeah, she's like, I just can't do it. So it was very clear.
that's
She
true.
didn't really get the opportunity to do that in the original because she was shot while aiming the gun.
Yeah, and it's a lot
He
harder with
drops the
PS1
gun.
graphics. But I just wanted to bring it
Yes.
up though. But yes, that is a very good
Yeah.
point. That is a very good point, dude.
Yes.
Because you can do a lot more with graphics nowadays. And that message I think is clear in the remake. I wasn't really trying to take away from remake. I just wanted to. I was more saying that I like that little piece of
Right on.
dialogue in the original when Leon checks her gun and finds out that there's no bullets in there. And I always thought that was just cool because she was never gonna shoot him. She loves him. All right, that's it.
Well, all right. Well, today we're talking about a game that is I would say a fan favorite, not necessarily a cult classic, because that goes to Code Veronica. But this is a fan favorite and a very popular game in the series, and it is the third game to round out the original trilogy discussion. Today, we have brought on a guest to talk about this with us, who is not necessarily a fan of horror games or the genre, and we will get into that, but he loves this game, so we decided to bring him on. I would like to introduce all the listeners to our guest and friend from Colin 255's chat
Yeah,
community
we've
on
known him
Twitch,
for a few years now, quite a few years.
Mhm. The Electric Saket. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there he is.
Ah, there he
There's
is.
our
Yeah,
man. What's up,
We
man?
thought you lost you for a
Yeah.
minute.
yeah, yeah. So I am the Electric Saket. I'm one of Colin's constant viewers, and I drop into Kenjira's chat every once in a while when I see him stream. And really, the way that I got into Resident Evil is very fascinating compared because I listened to you guys describe and how you got into Resident Evil.
So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. Like for one thing is that I have a very different experience with the series compared to the two of you,
hmm
as you played them played these games when they were coming out, while I started this series very recently, actually. And part of that is because I was too young. Other part is probably because I'm scared of horror in general, horror movies, psychological horror movies, those kinds of things. But eventually, the YouTube algorithm just sent sent me a video of one of my favorite YouTubers, essentially playing RE2 remake.
Mm.
And eventually that piqued my interest. Like it's a YouTuber, so they're a little bit comedic
Right.
while playing it and whatnot. So it piqued my interest. Eventually, RE3 remake comes out. Similar. Now, roughly a year after after RE3 remake comes out, uh, I had heard the mixed reception
hmm
that fans had about RE3 remake. So
Oh, and there definitely was.
Yeah.
yes, yeah, and my friends for my birthday ended up getting me RE. I was hoping, asking them to get me RE2 remake, but they ended up getting me RE3 remake because it was a newer thing,
Right.
and I was happy either way, right? Like
hmm
they got me something, and frankly, uh, it's my favorite game, the characters and all that, despite the controversy and whatnot, and
hmm
it was a great place for me to kind of jump into the franchise,
So you
and
jumped
I
in
put
with
it
the remake or the original, you were saying?
the remake, the
The
remake,
remake,
Which is
okay.
fascinating to me
yeah,
because like that's so far the opposite of me, like of the spectrum. It was, and
yeah.
it's one, it's obviously one of the more recent ones I ever played, besides 8 and 4 remake. So it's really fascinating to hear from someone who's played their first one they ever played is RE3 remake. But that's really cool though.
hmm I guess that
Yeah,
gives them a little bit more of an appreciation for the remake as opposed to the original, not having it to compare to.
That and your
So
first
you
first first time is always the best. So the first
yeah.
one.
absolutely.
This was back in 2012. This was back in 2021.
Yeah.
So so the actual old PS1 ports nowhere accessible on any modern hardware. But after RE3 remake, I kind of went in and bought RE2 remake and played just the Leon A
Oh,
run of that
is
because I want to go through the story.
RE2 remake the second one you ever played? You played that after, right
Yep.
after? Uh,
Yep. Only played Claire B a while after, and then this is where the fun, interesting stuff happens because this is around the time that I end up meeting you, Colin. Is I start RE1 remake.
oh,
My frustration with those controls and whatnot,
the
but
initial,
enjoying the characters and all that in RE1 remake because it's so different from the previous two games I played. Right?
right? Yeah, yes,
Yes,
it is. Much
it
much
is.
older
It's like,
remake.
yeah, it's a completely, it's something to get used to.
Yeah, and I mean, hell,
Yeah.
RE1 remake came out before RE4 original came out. So like, we're talking about way back in like 2002 or whatever on the
Yeah.
GameCube. Was it 2002 that it came out?
Yeah, it
That's
came out in I don't know the exact month it
yeah.
was
Well,
2002, and I know it came out at least, I want to say 3 years before Resident Evil 4, so it was
yeah.
'02.
So that's a big difference. RE1 remake to RE2 remake is a
Hmm.
17-year jump
So
in
you got to
technology.
play. You got
I
to
actually,
play.
yeah. So I actually got ended up playing RE1 remake, and since you actually mentioned it, I played RE1 remake and RE4 at the same time,
Oh, nice.
finishing RE4 first because RE1 remake was tougher. But I was, walkthroughs and whatnot, and
Mhm.
then watching Colin stream as I did my
So
Joe run.
so that's how you found me. How did you find me specifically? Just out of curiosity. I forget. You told me before, but for the audience
Yeah,
and for my memory.
I looked on Twitch, searched uh, RE1 remake basically, and
So
that's how I ended up
I
finding
was
it.
playing RE1
I
remake. That
looked
makes
for
sense.
I put it from low to high so I can find probably
That
a community that has a good
that's
amount,
that's the only way you're
but will
gonna find
actually get
me
along.
is put it from low to high, not from high to low. I'll never be up top. I'm always down in the slums on Twitch.
No, no, not at all. But quite frankly, you have a really nice, inviting community, I'd
Oh, well, I
say.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
then there's me, the
yeah,
crass guy who never you never know what he's going to say next.
No, I love you
But
yes,
guys.
and
I'm
I
from a
meet you through Colin.
I'm from a different generation of people who just didn't give a fuck about what they say. So you
And
know,
I'm the opposite. I'm always trying to be the most polite person ever to everyone. Like I
Yeah,
I can't I can't do that. If I always said yeah, I can't do that. No, everything I if I always
and
said
we've had many chats about RE1 remake, particularly because it's the first because that's kind of what I approached you with, and kind of getting a sense of the game,
yeah.
so
making things easier.
you just recently played. You were mentioning in the pre-record the GOG version. So you were playing the original trilogy. Now, did you play all three of the games, or
Yep.
you did and you finished them all? You were saying that
Yeah.
in the chat once. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
how do you
So
feel about Resident Evil 3 Nemesis compared to the remake now that you've played it?
I definitely I definitely see where obviously the changes they've made, but I probably don't feel as uh, upset with some of the stuff that they cut out.
Of
Yeah, because
course.
it's you don't have that personal attachment of
Yeah, it's only
nostalgia
going to be natural.
of
Yes,
years. Yeah,
and
which
I
is
also don't have
understandable.
Yeah.
that, and I also have the frustration with the controls, which has me usually when I'm playing these older ones,
Yeah.
including RE1 remake and RE0, and all that. When I'm playing with the tank controls, I'm always like following walkthroughs, so I don't, so that I'm actually playing it correctly, and uh, yeah, like quite literally, over the course of a year, I finished like the available Resident Evil games on the PlayStation,
The original
and the
hardware.
On the
Modern.
PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so whatever ports were available. So I mentioned RE1 and 4. I finished around the same time.
Hmm.
Damn,
Then
I
I
was
go to
about to
RE.
say that's the way we did it in the '90s, son.
Yeah. No, he's talking
Yeah,
about modern hardware.
Okay.
yeah. Then I go to RE0, RE5, and then RE7, which I was hesitant uh, because I knew it was the scariest thing with Colin mentioning that to
I do
me.
think it is one of the scarier Resident Evil games overall.
And, yeah.
It's up there.
Then I end up going and playing CV, Code
Code
Veronica,
Veronica.
and then RE8 drops, and I play RE6, play some of the campaigns with Colin,
Yeah, yeah, we played together.
and
Okay.
It was
yeah,
my like
and then
12th
Rev
playthrough,
One's
but it was your first, I think.
yeah,
Hmm.
and then Rev One, Rev Two, and then uh, finally ending it with my Claire B run of RE2 remake, and then of course RE4
Yeah,
remake.
I was
I
gonna say
played.
ending it with RE4, and didn't you just say you finished the DLC for that finally?
And, yeah, recently I finished the DLC, but
What,
last
separate
fall,
ways?
Yeah,
yeah, separate ways.
How
But
good is that?
oh, really, really good. But
I love
the
I like it.
separate ways. I love it.
but for the actual original games, right, that were
Mm.
ported to PC, GOG and Capcom worked together to get those to port the old PC versions into Win 10 and Win 11
Wish they would work together
versions.
and port it to consoles.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Capcom. What in
Come
the
on,
hell, dude?
we're gonna mention it every episode.
Every
Capcom
episode until you
RE
give us
one,
what we
two, and
want.
three remastered.
Only thing is, Code
Cap,
Veronica was never ported to PC, so I'm like,
which
that's
is
the one game PC needs
which
to
is weird because
needs
that
ported.
was ported to the PS4 and it got remastered on the PS3. So there's a remaster on the PS3, and for some reason they didn't put the remaster on PS4 and PS5. They put the original PS2 port, and I don't understand that.
I
That's
just
weird.
I wonder if I really can't help but wonder if that's because if you
That's
notice we
that's
didn't
all
get them.
PS3 stuff,
Yeah, we
you
didn't
know.
get it in the PlayStation 4 era and continuing into the 5 era because in the PlayStation 4 era is when they started to actually remake the games, not to mention they were working on 7. And I feel like Capcom is like, well, this is the direction we want to go. And they really kind of just, since it's a new Capcom and it isn't the producers, and publishers when we were younger that are there probably any longer, they just really maybe they're not getting like the demand and
Oh, you're
that
saying
the fan base has for this.
what are you saying? Like
I'm just
that's why we haven't gotten an RE1, 2, and 3
yeah,
remaster, right?
that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
I
That's
mean,
what I'm thinking.
that definitely has to be part of it. Like they're thinking, like they already have remakes. Why would they want remasters of the original if
Yeah, but
you
that's
already have
just
fresh?
fucking
It
stupid
is really
because
dumb because
there's
they have to
people out
know.
there by the hundreds of thousands, if not
Absolutely,
millions, that want to play this.
Yeah,
they always
yeah.
want to go back and enjoy the originals.
And they want to
Absolutely.
play it on modern
And it's
hardware.
not
They
even
don't,
just people that want to that want to relive older memories. I'm sure there's younger generations of people that are barely in their 20s that want to try out older games too. So
right.
it's not just like us old farts that want to go back and play our favorite games from back in the 90s. Like newer generations I think want to find these older games, these older classics
Hey,
and try to
I wasn't in my early 20s, but like, hey, late 20s and wanted to try it, just because I
Hmm.
saw someone
yeah.
playing it. So when finally last fall, or I think it was June, was when the RE1 dropped, and then they dropped RE2 and 3 later on in the fall,
Oh, on
and
GOG.
then I finally finished, and so I got to
Was
kind
it
of
in
get that
June
comparison. Yeah, I
of
think they
last summer?
dropped. Yeah, last summer. The RE1,
It's
then
already been
RE2,
that long. Wow, it feels like it just
and
dropped
then
them
RE3.
Bro,
yesterday.
time's just flying by. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, playing the game and then like comparing it with RE3 make, which is still my favorite and my preferred way, just purely because I'm not as
Well,
into like tank controls.
of course, and that
But
makes sense.
I appreciate where it came from and
Right.
some of the things that introduced to the series. It's because even the original is a little bit. It leans a little bit into that action horror, not quite into where we go into uh, RE4 yet, but it's you're clearly seeing the inner workings
And
of
even
I think that that's a
where the direction.
byproduct, really, of them just raising the stakes as the
Yeah.
games progress.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
There was
absolutely,
definitely, yeah.
and
Even in the original, there was more action in 3 than there was in 1 and 2. Hell, if you play it on easy
right.
mode, you start out with fucking magnums and shotgun and assault rifle with the.
See,
Granted, that's easy mode, but still.
the first time I played it on easy mode was on an emulator,
Mm.
the one I tried to turn you on to with the emulated version. Uh, I thought that that was just maybe like a addition by maybe like the ROM creator or something
You
that
didn't think
did the
that? Yeah,
ISO and
yeah.
the ROM.
Isn't it like kind
I
of
didn't.
appalling seeing that
I
the
did.
first
Yeah,
time?
I'm like, holy shit! I
Yeah,
got
no,
everything.
no, that was there from the beginning, as far as I
But
know.
no, yeah. So and like, so we're going to be getting into the meat of the game now, guys. And here we go. You
Yes.
literally get like just a handgun when you start off on hard, and that easy mode is in the original. Now that I've played it for the first time, and what is it now? It came out in 99, 2000. So in
99.
26,
99. Yeah.
yeah, 90. I think it actually dropped in America in 2000.
Oh, maybe.
Like
Yeah,
maybe,
maybe the
yeah.
original Japanese
So
version was
it's, yeah.
99.
I think the 99 was Japan's release
Mm.
window. Yeah. Here we are, nearly 26 years
Oh,
later.
we
I
got it
finally.
late 99
Oh,
on Veterans
okay,
Day,
okay.
I
apparently.
thought so.
Right, right. Which that so that would be in December, right? Of that
No,
year.
no, November 11th,
November. Yeah.
Oh,
99.
okay, November. Okay. Yeah. So, Colin,
Yes,
this game is a fucking very personal favorite of yours,
it is. That's this and RE2. I've always said are my two favorites. They're right there, level and level,
and
next to each other.
you are you are pretty good, even though you haven't played this game in what 7 years now, 6, 7 years.
Yeah,
You still remember a lot about it.
yeah.
You direct me through it when I get lost, because Resident Evil 3, it starts off as a really big kind of open world style game in the grand scheme of like how Resident Evil is set up, because you have upper downtown, or you have downtown, and then you have the upper city, and
Yeah,
you have all this the RPD to explore. You have shops you can go into, all kinds of just places to explore, parks.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
a big game.
Yeah.
It's a big game, and it's a beautiful game, guys.
Oh, I
This
love
is
it.
Colin's
I
favorite.
think
So
it's one of the best
tell
looking
us a little bit
games
about it.
on the PS.
Tell us a little bit about
One.
it.
Oh, I just love it to death. I think the way they build up to, because I mean we're gonna use the title character here. It's not called Resident Evil 3. It's called Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Fucking
Hmm.
Nemesis. And I think the way they build up to Nemesis through this game is, I personally like it so much more than how they do it in remake, because you hear about.
Which in Japan, before you go on, which in Japan, it's called Biohazard 3: The Last Escape.
Hmm.
Nemesis is the American, Resident Evil Nemesis is the American name. But I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
no, no. That's fun. Yeah. Well, I was just saying, I love the build up to it, because in the remake you kind of just see him. He just bursts into Jill's apartment out of nowhere, and that's fine. Like I'm gonna try to hate on RE3 remake as little as possible, because I like the game. I just don't like it as much as the other remakes. And I know it's your favorite, Electric. I like the game. I think it's good, but I think it could have been so much better. But one of the things is the build up to Nemesis. I love so much more in the original, because
Hmm.
you run into the
And
bar.
when did we get to see him in the original? How does he come in?
That's what I was gonna say. We run into the bar and we meet Brad, and he mentions
Oh,
like,
Brad.
"Oh, we're both gonna die, Jill. Like it's coming for us. It's after S.T.A.R.S members. There's no escape." So we get this like little build up. We know there's something big nasty out there that Brad's like fucking terrified of, and he's a S.T.A.R.S member. So if he's terrified, and he's
Yeah,
mentioning
but to
the
be fair, he's called Chicken Heart. So, but
true, and he did bail on everybody in RE1, but still,
yeah, dude.
but still, and then when you,
I didn't want to mention,
yeah.
like, sorry, before we get, too far in story, the intro by Jill is pretty cold.
It's pretty iconic.
It's so
Are you
iconic.
talking about remake or
Uh,
original? Here, you got
The
it.
no,
original.
no, 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 no. The intro quote.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The quote.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
It's so cold the way yeah, just the way it starts,
September
and then the
28th,
way you
daylight.
start just right outside your apartment,
Yeah.
and just zombies.
Yep.
And this game is 24 hours before starts 24 hours before
The events of
uh
Resident Evil
Yeah, that's
2.
another thing we should have
the
mentioned.
events.
Yeah, the first half of RE3 takes place before RE2, and then once Jill goes into her coma, I believe this is true for both remake and
Which,
original.
not trying to jump ahead or anything, but which, when you finally get into the RPD, you find, is Marvin fucking dead on the ground, or is he just passed out?
I
Because,
always just looked at it as he's just passed out because I mean
okay,
he in the original because like he can't be dead obviously or
yeah,
or
unless it's like a continuity error, I don't know.
yeah well yeah it obviously could be that but I don't know I always just looked at it he's just out or maybe she thinks he's dead
Yeah.
or something. Maybe because you know who knows when you're bitten and passed out, maybe your heart rate is almost non-existent. I don't. Who knows, man? We're just speculating here at this point. Who knows? But I choose to look at it as he was just passed out completely from the pain, and
Mm-hmm.
then eventually after Jill's gone, he gets up again and then scooches
Mm-hmm.
over to that locker, and then that's when Jill
Now,
or Claire come in to meet him for the first time. But yeah, when we
now,
get sorry, go on.
oh, no, go ahead, go ahead. I'll
I
follow up.
was gonna get to where Nemesis does come in originally when you know after
That's what I was going to get into. So
okay yeah it's
we
after the
before we
build up
get in, but after the build up, before we get into the RPD though, like we're introduced to this hulking tyrant, uh, the Nemesis, who is a T-103 tyrant. I think we established in
yeah
text, right?
yeah
Who is infected with the Ne alpha parasite? It's a worm that makes the brain function more controllable by a master, sort of like the La Plaga from Resident Evil 4, that the Nemesis can be controlled, and he's a terrifying creature. And let's talk about him a little bit. This isn't some big lumbering Frankenstein monster like he was portrayed in
Mm,
Resident Evil Apocalypse. This is a fucking freight train of a
Mhm.
destructive force.
this
He's
dude is
fast
he is
and he's brutal.
fast yeah exactly he is fast as hell he is fucking strong as hell he has a dope ass design he whips out a fucking rocket launcher
A rocket launcher.
sorry about that
And I mean I mean, like, if you go back to, like, if you kind of look at, like, what their inspirations for Nemesis, it's literally Shinji Mikami pointed to Terminator 2, Judgment Day,
that
Absolutely.
makes sense
Terminator.
that makes sense yeah because he's just stalking you through the whole game which he does way more in the original than remake, which is another thing I like more about the original.
But
When
was it Terminator 2, or was it the original one as well? Because
I mean
he kind of
both,
was he was, yeah, he was a stalk. I mean, there were stalkers in both, but
yeah,
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 the
yeah. But Arnold himself,
Terminator is a big fucking inspiration in Electric. You're very right on it. And I love the Terminator. It's one of my favorite movies. Both of them, one and two. Anything
yeah,
after that is kind of just nothing in my mind.
the
But
same here.
yeah, and this is what makes the Nemesis such an imposing foe. He is relentless. I mean, nowhere is safe.
Yeah,
Next to nowhere.
can I?
There's nowhere you can hide from this creature.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I just want to
It almost makes you scared to move. Go
compare
ahead.
remake and original first meeting him. Like
Hmm.
first meet him in the remake, technically in the apartments, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna not count that because I'm gonna count when you first see his face, and you first like I believe he first shows his face. When is it in remake? Is it when she's ramming her in the car around around that
No,
time?
Yeah,
whenever he gets caught on fire.
And then the shit melts
Uh,
off his face or whatever.
yeah, and all the
Yeah,
shit. Now I'm not sure if it's when he's. I don't think it's when she's ramming him. I think it's
about to.
whenever Carlos blows him up after
That's
calling
what
him
I was gonna get.
fuckface.
That's exactly what I was gonna get to. We get Carlos says, "Hey, fuck face," and then
Hmm.
blows up, and that's all cool and everything. But I just really love the where it goes down in the original with because we have a character from the first game who Jill's about to enter the RPD, and he shows up, Jill, and then, Brad, and then before you can even say anything else, boom, big thump, Nemesis. fucking
That's kind of cool.
8 feet tall,
That's
standing
Yes.
right in front of Brad, and it's just like the biggest like oh shit moment from my personal favorite monster in all of Resident Evil, and I think a lot of people like the Nemesis as the best monster. He's such a badass design, and obviously wipes out Brad with ease, and then it's just like oh shit, he's just staring Jill down. 1 S.T.A.R.S member down, one more to go, and then and then
but yeah,
and that
but
leads into something else I love all about the original more than remake, and that's the first point in the game where you get a choice. You get choices
yes,
throughout the
Yes.
original, and I love
yes.
that.
The
That was one thing that I did uh, that I did find
Yeah,
interesting
you get the choice
about that
to
game.
fight the monster or run away like a little bitch, and that's just the first of many choices. And these choices can affect the game. Like eventually, not to skip ahead too much, but like the choices you make, like the ending, like when you said earlier I haven't played it in 7 years, that's true, except I did just play it this morning for the first
Oh
time.
yes, that's right. I'm sorry, you did play it this
I
morning. So
just played it this morning
you're
for the first time in like 7 years because of you
and you
showing me
did
how to do it
it.
on my phone.
Did you do it with the controller or with the
No,
native
with the
touch?
native touch, it was rough because the
God, you're a
control.
fucking beast.
That's
No
why.
wonder you call yourself beast mode. That had
Well,
to be
I
hard.
chose easy mode because of that, though, because of the garbage touch controls. So I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure I got through it easy enough, so I chose easy mode. So it was no problem at all.
So how did it feel to play it?
It was
Even that way.
it was all great. I'm gonna do RE2 after now that I know I can do that. But what I'm getting back to what I was getting to, the ending I got here
Mhm.
is when Nikolai gets murdered right before you fight Nemesis to second to the last time. He just gets murdered.
Mhm.
But there is a path you can take to where Nikolai doesn't even die, and he takes the chopper you guys are gonna escape on, and you kind of have a battle with him in the chopper. He starts shooting at you, and you got to survive that, and then he flies off. And
And there's
so
an ending
the
where
point
you
is
get
that
Barry Burton
yeah, that's the
to
ending.
pick you up, isn't there?
Yeah, when because Nikolai takes the chopper away in that ending. But the whole point is that there are different paths. So in the remake, there aren't different paths. There's one set path, but it's almost like there is an A and B scenario in RE3 original. It's just that
Mhm.
it's just not as right there in your face like it is in RE2. And actually, you can kind of say there might even be more than two paths because like you could mix and match all different choices throughout RE3 original. You know, like
Well, I would say that's just because it doesn't really have like a second campaign, and I wouldn't
yeah,
really count Carlos because he's just kind of like a like a what do you call it, like a mini game, if
yeah.
you
And I'm
will,
not trying to say it does
and
have a second scenario. It doesn't, obviously, but it
yeah,
almost kind of like an
it almost feels
illusionary,
like it.
an almost yeah.
Yes.
It's like a part way second scenario. The way
How many
you,
times
It's
have
very
you?
experimenty, the choice based mechanic.
it's very what?
Uh, it's very experimental. I
Oh,
feel like because it's not because you know that you want to like in many of the choices you kind of think like, okay, well that's clearly the right choice.
Mhm.
Uh, so it's kind of
for a lot of the choices,
experimental.
yeah.
Yeah, despite so it could be if they kind of worked it out, fleshed it out even further, it could have
It
been
almost
even
feels
better.
like there really can't be like a bad choice to make because it
Well,
results in a different outcome. I've
that's
often
true.
wondered that playing it. You know, should I run away? Should I fight? I didn't know for a long time that you have to beat them. If you beat them twice, when you choose to confront them, you get pickups. Actually, I learned that from the remake
That's only
that
on
they
hard mode
translated
though.
that.
In the original, you don't get pickups on
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, and I've only played hard. Well, I'm currently playing hard, so I've only played hard mode once.
Yeah,
But I was going to ask, how many times have each of you guys beat Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and have you experienced all the endings that
hundreds.
it offers?
I don't. All
So
right,
you've
let me
experienced
not say
Over
every.
hundreds. I'll say several. No, probably over my whole life. It has to be over 50, 60 times I've beaten it, at least, like easily.
So
There were
you've
days.
experienced every possible
Yeah,
ending
yeah,
scenario
yeah.
that can be.
At some point or another, I've done every choice, every mix and match choice. Like there were days back when I was like 15 and I would or 14, I'd come home from school and just play it, beat it in one sitting, and then just start it up again, play it again, and 2 times in one day. So like It's hard to tell how many times I've beaten in my life, but a lot of times. I would not
See,
be surprised if it was in the hundreds.
I didn't get to play it back in the day completely in its completion because, well, you both know me and my best friend who eventually absconded with my PlayStation. I didn't, yeah, I didn't really get to, let alone play the other campaigns beyond Leon A and 2, but I didn't get to play Resident Evil 3. But however, I was married when I was 19. Yes, I got married young.
Wow,
Uh, yeah, and I hate to keep bringing up
Mazel
people who are
tov.
gone. My wife, who she's been passed away for 14 years
Oh, I'm
now,
sorry.
but
Rest in peace.
yeah,
I'm
well,
sorry to hear that.
that's what I'm saying. It seems like everybody, like, I guess it gets to a point where life starts taking away and instead of giving, but we all have to face that. But I
Oh
appreciate the
yeah.
sentiment, guys. But the point is my brother-in-law had a PlayStation 1 and he had Nemesis. And I tried to play it and I just found it, not only did I not really have a lot of time because I was working full time then, I wanted to sit down and get into it, and it was his, so I really could only play it when I could. I found it really hard to try to figure out what to do because it is very easy to get lost on a first run if you don't know what to do. It is a game that you have to sit
Oh
down to
yeah.
really focus on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is it not?
Oh, yeah, for a first playthrough, yeah, definitely, especially like a first playthrough, yeah, for sure, you can easily get lost. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess that
Yeah,
could
I
be
mean,
said with RE1 and
I'm
2
in the
also,
modern
though.
day, right?
I'm
I'm
sorry.
playing
What?
this in the modern day, so it's a little bit different because I have access to walkthroughs and all that. So
That's
obviously,
true too.
Right.
Yeah,
I can only
the
imagine.
internet was a
I can only
baby back
imagine.
then.
It
But
was a baby back then, but and you really and like I remember like there being like I got the disc right here. I think there's a hot was there. Remember whenever Capcom used to do hotlines? Let's see here. Yeah, that is the Capcom hint line. It's right there on the disc.
yeah,
I wonder if you
Oh
called that
wow.
now. You used to be able to call them, and then somebody would give you hints
I got the
on what to
note.
do.
I got the
Look, he's
booklet.
got his book. Okay, so since we're showing off our games, what does this mean? What does "it's in your blood" mean? I mean, I've read it, but like, were they implying something that I missed while playing this game or
Let me
something?
see it again. It just says it's
It
in.
says
What
it's
is?
in your
What does it
blood.
say after that?
Okay, it says it's in your blood. Just days after surviving the grisly disaster of the Mansion Lab, Jill Valentine resigns from S.T.A.R.S and attempts to escape a
Well,
nightmare city
I,
in ruins. Blah blah blah.
I think it could
So
mean maybe a few things. First of all, it's in
she's
your.
immune to the T virus.
Maybe. Well, I don't know.
Because
I was actually I was
she
gonna
gets
say
infected
it's in, yeah, exactly, and that's in her blood then. But I think maybe it's in her blood, as in like it's in her blood. She's a S.T.A.R.S member. Nemesis is after
to
S.T.A.R.S
be
members, so
right.
maybe
Yeah,
that's
it's
what it
in her blood
means.
to
Or
fight them and survive.
yeah, or maybe that, or it's in her blood to be she's a survivor. It's in your blood. I don't know. I'd have to. I'm not sure what they mean by that fully, but those are some speculations. Um, but anyways, do you guys mind if I go off on a big list of things that I really like better about the original? Continue off of that.
Absolutely, go
Okay.
ahead.
All right.
The floor is all yours, man.
This is my time to shine. Okay. First, well, I already said the no choices. I really love the choices in the original, but I
Hmm.
couldn't believe I feel like there aren't enough people that agree with me on this, but like I couldn't believe they didn't add mercenaries in remake because mercenaries
Oh,
originated from
oh yeah,
RE3
that's awesome.
original. And
Hmm.
mercenaries has become
This
a
is true.
staple in Resident Evil since then. RE4 had mercenaries, RE5, 6, RE8 has a mercenaries mode. Like it became a staple in the series for a lot of the games, and it originated in RE3. So I could not believe they didn't put a mercenaries mode in remake. That appalled me. Uh, there's also hardly any puzzles in remake. There's like one puzzle, and it's easy as hell, and
It's
it's not
not the
even.
fucking jewel puzzle at the beginning, right? In the subway
No, I
entrance.
wouldn't. No, that's not a puzzle. That's just
That's a
collecting
yeah.
items
Because
and putting them in. I'm
I
talking
was gonna
about
say
the
I don't
subway
really consider
puzzle.
that a puzzle.
The subway where you have to figure out which
Wait,
route to take.
remind
Where you have to.
fresh in my memory.
This is remake we're talking about, where you have to like.
Yes.
It's near the beginning, and you have to figure out which route to set the cable car train on,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of like a
yeah.
puzzle. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
puzzle. That's like the only halfway decent puzzle in the game.
Where you get the shotgun and shit that's locked up.
Yeah, it's near there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
the original has so many puzzles. where like the music box puzzle, the water sample puzzle, which I
The
fucking
water
love.
sample
I
puzzle,
love the water
yes.
sample puzzle. It did.
Either you love it or you hate it.
I guess so, because even back in the day, when it did kind of aggravate me a little bit back in the day when I had
It's like playing Tetris.
I love the water sample puzzle. It was one of my
But
favorites in the
I
series.
struggled with it. I'm not gonna
A
lie.
lot
I
of
was
people
like,
did. I struggled with it too back in the day.
what in the fuck is this? But there's some people that contend that what is it, the clock puzzle or the time puzzle? That's more.
Oh, like
It's
I think that's the music puzzle you're talking about in the clock tower.
yeah. Is it a music puzzle?
Well, yeah, there is a music puzzle in the clock tower there, and I don't think there's any other puzzles. No, so yeah, it has to be the music
It
puzzle you're
it,
talking about.
it, it
Where
must it must be that
there's
one
two
then.
music boxes downstairs, and one of them you listen to plays the exact wrong song, and the other one plays the right one. And so you just gotta when you get upstairs, there's six little choices you have. And for each of those choices, you either go up or down. And if you pick up, it'll play either the right or wrong one, and you got to
Oh,
pick
okay. I remember that one.
you got to pick the right one for each one. For the
I
playthrough that I
remember that
did,
one.
I don't know actually if it's random on every playthrough or not, but for the playthrough I did, it was up down up down up down was the correct sequence, and it played the song correctly, and then you get whatever you get, the key or whatever.
I don't know. I could have swore that there was one that was like you had to like pick like set times on a clock or you had to.
You're right. I'm totally forgetting about the obsidian and the crystal ball, the
That's
obsidian
the
and
one.
the
Yeah,
amber ball.
that's
Yeah.
the
Oh
one.
yeah,
And you know
that
what?
puzzle.
That puzzle kind of still confuses me to this day, or I just forgot. But honestly, all I did was I just brute forced it to when I did it this morning because like I always forget which order it is, and I don't know what in-game clues they give you for it, or if they do any at all. Maybe they just don't. I just try different combinations until it works, or at least that's what I did this morning, and that's pretty much what I've
Hell,
always ever done.
I don't remember how I solved it.
So that
But
puzzle,
I do know this. I didn't have as near as much trouble with that puzzle as that
yeah.
confounding water puzzle.
Well, when you put in either the amber, obsidian, or crystal ball thing, it shows how much time is sped forward or backwards. So I guess you look at
Yes.
that and then try to figure out which one you put it in. Because one of them changes the time a lot, one of them changes it a very little bit, and one of them changes it like a medium amount, and you got to get it exactly on 12.
How about
Yeah, the
you,
game's
Electric?
very
Did you
very
get
puzzle heavy,
how about
definitely.
you? Did you struggle with any of the puzzles in this, Electric?
In the original.
Yeah, yeah. And this one, so yeah, yeah. This game is very is has a lot more puzzles. I'd say even than the previous ones, where you had to actually kind of think. And I was already kind of using a walkthrough here and there. So then there's also stuff where there's puzzles where it's not the same in each playthrough is what I was informed by people that I was watching for walkthroughs. So it was like, okay, so I had to actually think and figure out for some stuff the randomness in there's a lot of interesting stuff like there's
Yeah.
the randomness I've just mentioned for the puzzles, but also rooms. It can now have you might have killed all the enemies in a room, but oh, now there's other enemies now.
You know,
Like
and to
Hmm.
add to the randomness that you were
it's
just
very
talking
interesting.
about, there's randomness factor in a lot of other ways too. Like when you first get to the S.T.A.R.S office, in the locker, there's either going to be a Magnum or a grenade launcher, and as far as I know,
And
it's
it's
literally
literally
50-50.
random.
Yes, from when
It's
you start up a
random.
playthrough,
Because
it's
I
like
did it back
preset.
to
Like
back.
yeah, it's 100% random. Yes, for sure. It's
Yes, I
50-50.
remember.
And then
Saving it and then going back and doing it, like getting the Magnum.
yeah,
Then, like I restarted the save, and then the next time I got the shotgun. Then I did it a third time, and the third time I got the Magnum again. So it's just
grenade launcher, not
50-50.
shotgun.
I'm sorry, not shotgun, the
We
grenade
yeah,
launcher.
we knew what you
Yes,
were saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thanks for
It's
the
yeah,
Yeah,
correction.
yeah, yeah. But yeah,
yeah.
there's other moments like
It's
that
so
too,
interesting.
where like gunpowder will be in one spot in one playthrough, and then on another playthrough, the triple gunpowder A's will be in a different spot. So it's not just that. There's tons of items in the game that are just randomized.
Hmm.
Well, not completely random. They'll either be in point A or point B. So if they're not in this spot,
Right,
they'll be in
right.
this spot. But some of those I don't think are random. Some of those are dependent on your choices that you make. I'm pretty sure. But
Right on.
the Magnum and the grenade launcher are completely random though, whichever one you get. But
So let's continue down your list,
yeah,
Colin.
I was just about to get
You
back
said
to
you have a
that.
list.
Another
Hmm.
thing I really like better in the original is the gunpowder and the that you combine with the reloading tool. I think that
Hmm.
system is just a little bit better. And I know I'm probably biased. I'm so nostalgic for this game, the original, but I do think that's a little bit better in the original
But you
because
can unlock a reloading tool in the remake, right, as an added bonus that can increase like the percentage of ammo you make. Or am I
yes,
tripping? Is
no,
that
that's something you do unlock, but the reloading
okay?
tool in the original I like more because not it's in the remake it's just like you combine these
And
two things and you get handgun.
powders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you combine these two to get handgun, or you combine the regular with a high grade and you get shotgun, or two high grades and you get magnum. And that's
Whereas in the original, you have to combine them and then add them to the reloading tool to create the actual
yeah,
ammunition
and
that you
it's
need.
not just that. Like there's a system that a lot of people don't know, especially on their first playthrough. You have to figure it out. But like if you combine a gunpowder a single gunpowder and get 15 handgun bullets or 30 if you're playing on easy, and then you do that
Hmm.
over and over again, there's like a leveling up system to it that the game never tells you about. But if you do it enough times, I think like 5 or 6 times, something like that, eventually it'll ask you, do you want to do an enhanced handgun ammo?
Hmm.
But you can only do
Oh.
that. You can only do that if you're doing it with single gunpowder A's. So if you like combine two gunpowder A's together and then do it, I don't think it levels it up. I might be wrong about that though. But the point is you can level it up to get enhanced handgun ammo, and you can also do it with the gunpowder B's to get enhanced handgun shotgun shells, which is
There
I
was
always thought was
another.
really cool.
What was the other Resident Evil game? Was it even a Resident Evil game that had enhanced ammo? That was recent. Was that something that was in
RE7.
Village or it was
RE7
seven?
has the
Yeah,
enhanced ammo,
seven.
and that
What a
is deadly as hell. It's almost better than Magnum.
yes.
And in a
I
way, it
I
is
I
if
knew
you
it
use
was
it.
one of them
If
too.
you use the Albert handgun, because and I like it more than the Magnum because you get more enhanced. It's easier to get enhanced handgun ammo, whereas Magnum ammo is very rare to come by. But that's a different game. But yeah,
Right
not
on.
back to RE3. Not only is there like a leveling up system with that, but you can do all kinds of different combinations. I was messing around with it a little bit today. Yeah, you
Hmm.
can combine like if you have them leveled up to where you can make enhanced handgun ammo, you can combine an A with an A and then with a B. So you'll have a gunpowder AAB. And then if you combine that in your reloading tool, you'll get a shit ton of enhanced shotgun shells. And then if you do like a gunpowder BBA and do it, you'll get a shit ton of enhanced handgun ammo. And on top of that, you can combine the gunpowder A and B together to make C, and those give you grenade rounds. Yeah, grenade rounds if you do it in the reloading tool. But one more cool thing that adds even more to it is that the grenade rounds that you get, like let's say you have 24 regular grenade rounds, and you can combine the gunpowders into the grenade rounds themselves. So if you do a gunpowder A and into the grenade rounds, it will it will make flame rounds. It'll take some of those grenade rounds and turn them into flame rounds.
You're getting a lot of feedback here. I'll turn. Let me see if this adjusts it.
Yeah, yeah, I
All
can
right,
hear
so
my
maybe
echo.
that might be better. Yeah. So, well,
Oh, that's
it
so
could
much
just be
better.
the
I
app.
can't even hear myself now. I
Is that better?
barely, yeah, I can barely hear it
It
now.
might be because of my headset's too loud.
Yeah, thank you.
So
But yeah, you can
yeah,
do the
you
same
got
with
it.
gunpowder B. You combine it if you combine a gunpowder B into grenade rounds, it makes it gives you acid rounds. And if you combine a gunpowder C into grenade rounds, you get the legendary freeze rounds, which I was so upset to see not included in remake. I know they added mine rounds, which are cool, but man, I always thought it would have been cool if like there were no freeze rounds, and I think freeze rounds are the coolest shit ever in RE3 because
I was about to
they
ask that.
stun them, they
You're a big
freeze.
fan of the freeze
I love
rounds,
them,
which is a
and I
shame
was
that they took
so
them
yeah,
out. Yeah, of the
and I
remake.
understand maybe wanting to take it out for like a first time playthrough, but I think even if they didn't want to include it in the main game, I think it would have been really cool to have it be a reward for when you beat the game. You can unlock like freeze rounds, like infinite freeze rounds or something for your grenade launcher for New Game Plus. Like that would have been a
Hmm.
really cool reward, I think. I don't see why they couldn't have done that at the very least. Like I understand they didn't want to put it in the main game, that's fine. But I think at the very least it could have been a cool reward. And while we're on the topic of weapons and ammo and stuff that they didn't have in the remake that they did in the original, the Eagle handgun, 6.0 handgun, such a cool weapon that I can't believe is not in the remake. God, that pisses me off.
Such a shame.
Pisses me
So
off.
moving on,
Fuck you, Capcom. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Capcom.
moving on from the weapons now. I'm sure this is on your list. Now, there's some very big controversial cuts in the remake that the original gave us that are very much beloved areas, like St. Michael's Clock Tower
Yeah,
and
which we already kind of
the
got
Oh
into a
yeah.
little bit.
yeah, and my personal favorite is I like the park area, and I really like the
Yeah,
Gravedigger fight, and
yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
shame that this didn't make it
True.
into the remake. I think that these are iconic areas that are in the game.
The clock tower,
Even though like
especially, like
the
I
clock
feel,
tower especially
is
is like
iconic
for a
as
lot of
hell.
people,
Yeah.
even though it's not very long, but like the puzzles
Well, yeah.
and the
It has
it's
multiple puzzles in it, and it's
yeah,
not exact. It might
it
not be
just
super long, but it's not short either. Like
yeah,
it
it's
has some
not
length to
exact. Yeah,
it.
it's not. It's got a little bit of length, but like I mean, like if you once you know your way around, you can kind of just you're breezing
Of
through
course,
it,
yeah.
But um, these are things that kind of Capcom missed the mark on whenever doing this game, and I feel like they did this game as a money grab because of the success of Resident Evil 2, and
Well,
I feel like it was rushed to production, and they
they
kind of
had a
just
B squad working on it. They had like
yeah,
I don't
that, and I
remember
think they were
M2 or
just
something was the name of the company that helped Capcom work
yes,
on RE3.
something like that.
I might that might be wrong. I don't know the name of the developers,
Yeah,
but
I'm not 100% sure on it either, but I do know this. I feel like they streamlined it for a modern audience, but some of the cuts weren't, in my opinion, necessary, and they really should have like just done these at the bare minimum, gave us a director's cut version of this game. And I've heard a lot of people bitch that like, oh, it's too short, but I mean, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is not very long of a game either.
yeah, no,
It
it's
was
not.
originally it was originally intended to be a spin-off because the true Resident Evil 3 was supposed to be Code Veronica, was supposed to be Resident Evil 3, but
Yeah.
Sony had exclusive rights to numbered titles. So, fear of litigation or reprisal, I think they just relinquished that 3 title to Sony's brand. So, and then Sega just put out their version as a spinoff, which in my opinion, I think that Resident Evil Code Veronica is the true 3, but it's that's a matter of opinion. It doesn't take away
I mean,
from the impact of this game. Yeah, go ahead.
it definitely has more to do with like the overall like if you care about the characters and the lore of it, it definitely
Yes,
like RE3. All it has is Jill escaping.
I
Our
mean
Code Veronica has
because it
Chris,
brings in
Claire,
Wesker,
Wesker, yeah,
but
like
I mean
and
this game is not. I don't want to say it's carried by Nemesis, and it's not in any stretch of the imagination. Everything about Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is a great fucking game. It's a classic game. It's an iconic game.
I think
But Nemesis is a force, and he's a big reason why this game
he's scary.
was huge
Yeah,
and scary.
he's a scary
Yep.
motherfucker. Even when you're
Not
not.
only that, but the ability they could add more zombies on screen and all that. They were just doing things
I like how
better,
Nemesis punches through the zombies too. If there happen to be any in the room when he comes in,
Yeah,
he'll be like, "Get the fuck out of the way!" and knock the zombies out, and it's hilarious. You see it a lot if you
yeah.
do the mercenaries mode in the original. You'll see that a lot because yeah, there's actually one room in mercenaries mode where there's two Nemesis after you. Which is
Really.
stupid. Yeah, yeah, mercenaries mode. I'm gonna play some of that later actually. Now that you got me RE3 original on my phone.
I yeah. Well, you figure out. I tell you what. If you're really feeling froggy, what do you have? You have a Type C port on your phone?
I don't know. I don't know what
Okay,
that
well,
means.
if you have, all right, so if you have a Type C, you can find a compatible controller at Walmart or even like maybe
Uh,
like GameStop that you could plug into, or you can do a Bluetooth controller. You can get one on Amazon for $20. Just look for a Bluetooth controller that'll connect to it, and then you can telescope it over the phone and then play it that way. It work. There might be small lag, but it's barely noticeable. But
I mean,
yes,
your PlayStation controller should work.
yeah,
I
he can't
tried.
figure out how to get his. He's tried. He can't
I
figure it
tried
out.
with
I've tried
it.
to walk him through it.
It wouldn't connect. It said it wasn't compatible. That's what
Yeah.
I saw, and then
Um,
I disconnected it from the PlayStation completely, and I still couldn't get it to work. So I don't know. Whatever.
well, this
Not a
is
big deal.
why I use Apple iPhone. Yeah, you hear that, Apple? We're trying to get a sponsorship. No, uh,
Oh wow.
no, I'm kidding.
um,
Um, Getting back to Resident Evil 3 Nemesis,
yeah,
this game really hits all the notes of what a Resident Evil game should be. More so than I would say even like the first one,
really.
even though that laid the foundation, and even and Code Veronica itself, and it arguably is up there as a rival to probably the greatest in the trilogy with Resident Evil 2. It just depends on who you ask.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
find I find that certain age groups like I think it's really popular with millennials. You know what I mean? Because most of them, this was their first experience.
Yeah.
Uh, but is there anything else that you would like to run off on your list here, Colin?
Oh, there's plenty.
I know you have a lot, so
There's
let's get
stuff
to it.
to RE3 and RE remake that I want to compare, but like back to going, but let's go back to Brad again. We've already talked about his death in the original, but
Mhm.
one thing I wanted to point out from remake that I always thought was super funny is when you meet up with Brad, and then you're running through the streets, and the helicopter flies by, and he's like, "Wait, wait!" I don't remember exactly what he says, but he basically it's like a callback to RE1 original. He's now the one telling the
Getting
helicopter,
left.
yeah, getting left behind, being like, "Wait, don't go, wait!"
Boy, these helicopter pilots in Raccoon
Yeah,
City are some real chicken shits, aren't they?
I actually love that. Let me go through some things I do like about remake because I feel like I shit on it a lot, even though I do like it. I like it. I just think it could have been a 10 out of 10 remake. Instead, I feel like it's more like an 8 out of 10.
Electric thinks it's a 10 out of 10.
And that's fine. You can think of anybody. I don't.
Right,
That's
Electric?
perfectly fine. I'm just going off my personal opinion. It's not as good as the other remakes, in my opinion. I think it's a good, fun game though. But I did love that. I love that they threw that in the game. That's hilarious that it's Brad now. You know, he's getting his comeuppance in a way because he
I'm
left
willing
the
to
S.T.A.R.S
bet one of the
members
things
behind,
that
and now he's
I'm
getting
willing to
left
bet one
behind.
of the I'm willing to bet one of the things you want to praise is the character development.
I do, yeah.
It's well fleshed out
I
in
do.
the
I
remake.
like the characters a lot. Like I love them in the
I like
original for nostalgic
yeah.
reasons, but they're
I
probably
like
better in the
Carlos
remake. I'm
a
not gonna
whole hell
lie.
of a lot better. He was a
Yeah.
little less cringy. Not that he was very cringy in the original, but he's not.
All the
There's some
foxy ladies love me,
yeah. There's a
and it
little
drive
cringe
them
there with him.
crazy. That's what he says in the original.
Yeah, and then there's Nikolai, who I mean, who's the actor who played them in remake? The guy that did the
Oh
voice for
yeah.
Heisenberg. Do you
Oh,
know?
I love the voice. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Heisenberg played Nikolai, or vice versa. The guy who played Nikolai in RE3 remake
Yeah,
played
we're sorry
Heisenberg.
if we don't know your name if you ever hear this,
Yeah, I do
sir.
apologize. I
But
don't know your.
yeah,
But you're amazing, and I love you in both roles,
yes,
especially as Heisenberg.
he
You
kills it as
nailed
Nikolai
it.
because I love to hate
Lo-
this fucking
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, he killed it absolutely in both roles. And Carlos
Yeah.
in RE3 remake plays Chris in RE8. Same voice actor.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
can't
he,
help but hear Carlos whenever I hear him in Resident Evil Village.
I maybe, but yeah, but I still love him in both. Honestly, like I think they're both.
Oh no, that's not
I
to
think
take
he did
away his
great.
effectiveness as the role, but he
Right?
just
Yeah,
has
yeah.
he has a distinct voice. You know, I mean, not so does the actor who played Nikolai,
Yeah.
but I mean he kind of masks it in Village where you can't really tell it's him. So
So I want to go
how
over some.
both the yeah.
So I'm sorry. Go on with what you're saying real quick. And then-
No, I was done. I was just wrapping it up. So you want
Uh,
to go on to your
just a
likes?
few funny things that I like from remake. Some
Hmm.
lines like when Carlos says when he rockets Nemesis and saves Jill. My name's Carlos and I'm saving you. I'm saving or what or whatever. He says something like that, right? That's kind of corny, but I like it though. It's funny. But then we also have the iconic "Get off of my train, shit the bird."
Oh, Mikhail.
Yeah, Mikhail, that's so funny. I love that line. I feel like it's become a meme, the shit bird. Um, and also there's Bard. We haven't even talked about Bard from the remake. Bard.
Oh yeah.
He is the most despicable guy ever, but that's why it's so
I'm
funny.
goddamn
Like,
Nathaniel Bard.
yeah, and some of the stuff he says is just like so cartoonishly evil, like just like
What did he say to that nurse?
I'm
He's
trying
like,
to
"You're good at
remember right
polishing.
now. Yeah, like
You're good
yeah,
at
yeah,
polishing
yeah.
things."
You're good at polishing things, aren't you? Polish. You're go polish this. You bedpan waste. I don't remember what he says. It's funny though. It's
Your
hilarious.
bedpan scrubbing,
Wait,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's so like dickish that it's just like I hate him. You obviously hate him. He sucks. He's a terrible person, but you like him in a way because it's just hilarious. It's just hilarious to listen to him be
I
like
mean,
that.
he does have the vaccine, but I think his motivations are to save his own ass.
Yeah, of course.
Usually he's a narcissist. Narcissists usually put themselves first or look out for themselves, and that's what makes it real well. Like not to like him. It's done well.
Yeah.
I was annoyed by that guy. I'm like, wow, what a dick.
And
But yeah, what did you? Go ahead.
no, what did I what?
Oh, I was going to ask Electric. What was your impressions of Nathaniel Goddamn Bard whenever you first played Resident Evil 3 remake?
Nathaniel Bard. I'm just trying to remember place.
You have to
The
rescue him from the hospital,
He's the doctor
but
right,
guy.
right.
He's an
he's
asshole.
already dead because Nikolai got to him first.
Yeah, yeah. I, yeah. I just didn't have. Yeah, yeah. He was a little bit frustrating
He's an asshole.
to
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, he's an
Yeah,
asshole.
just yeah.
What about Nikolai? Did you really think that his villainous portrayal was
It,
did you
yeah,
you couldn't wait to put a bullet in that fucking guy? You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
yeah.
was great.
In this game, in the original meaning,
And
it
yeah, well, in both,
But remake especially. He was.
but the remake, as far as character development goes,
Yeah.
in the original, it's very like I really feel like Jill doesn't catch on the the how sus Nikolai is initially, while in
hmm
remake I feel like she very quickly catches on,
Yeah. It's
and
very apparent
yes,
right from the
and
get go.
a lot of the emotion with the fact that they're from Umbrella and all that, and it's like she's being a good good cop, uh, uh, detective, while kind of surveilling all these characters that she's encountering, Carlos, Mikhail, and of course Nikolai, and yeah, Nikolai. So yeah, really annoying character to deal with
Yeah.
in both games.
Yeah. He's
oh,
frustrating.
But
he's especially despisable in the remake. But I love
But
that. I love it when a villain is like you want to strangle him through the
yeah.
TV. It
But
makes you feel that way, and you're like,
he gets his comeuppance though in the original and remake, unless you take the route where he flies away in the helicopter in the original. Then he gets away with it, and that sucks. But at least we get Barry to save us in the original if that happens, though. So,
right.
correct.
um,
Uh,
That's actually what that's the route that I did,
I
because I was
just thought
like,
of something else.
yeah. Well, what'd you think of? Go ahead and lay it on us.
You want stars? I'll give you stars.
Oh yeah, they had
I
to put that.
can't believe they
classic
put
line.
that line in such a stupid part in the remake, because it's
Yes.
like I don't mind that they didn't keep it at the ending. That's
Yeah.
fine, but the part that they put it at towards the beginning when you're getting chased by them, like not the very beginning, but you're not too far into the game yet. But the biggest problem I have with it is that like a lot of time you're getting chased by him and he catches up to you easily. So she's saying the line while running away from him, which first of all I think is
Mhm.
stupid, but also if she gets punched, which does happen like 50% of the time, it interrupts the line, so she doesn't even get to finish it. And it's like, are you really like that's where you decided to put that iconic line? Like I don't mind them moving it to somewhere else, but it could have been done it could have been done better. But it's such a cheesy, stupid line, but also so lovable. Just like a lot of stuff from the
Right.
older games, like the voice acting in RE1, so cheesy and
But I
stupid,
mean,
but
it
lovable and charming.
perfectly encapsulates
And it's
like the camp of those games in the '90s. You
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. You want
It,
stars?
it
I'll give you
yeah,
stars. It's so
it's like on
badass.
the it's like the
It
equivalent
matches
of
the B movie, style that they were going for.
absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about the differences between the Dead Factory and Nest 2. How they did these differently. We'll start with the Dead Factory. It's a very iconic location. It's at the end of the game.
Yeah.
This obviously was cut from Resident Evil 3 in favor of having a second Umbrella underground lab, which makes no fucking sense to me, but they did it.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little confused. The factory,
The Dead
two
Factory at the end of the
factories,
game. No, there's the Dead Factory at the end of the
or
game.
two labs? I
Once you
meant.
go, well, in the remakes in the modern lore, you have Nest 1 and
Oh,
then you have Nest
I'm
2
sorry. Okay, I'm
in
sorry.
Resident Evil
Yeah,
3.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Remember now? Okay. So in the original Resident Evil, it was the Dead Factory you go to where
Yeah,
they dispose of all the failed experiments, which has its secret entrance, I believe, from the park. But you just played this, so
yeah.
right, you get there through the park. Um,
And
did you like the Dead Factory, or did it make more sense? And did you like the Nest 2 more?
I
Let
mean,
me hear you guys' thoughts on that.
I'm biased, as you know. I'm always gonna choose the original over. I think remakes did it fine though, but I'm still gonna go. I think I'm still gonna go with original because right after you go through the park to get to the Dead Factory, you have a choice right off the bat on that bridge.
Hmm.
Nemesis shows up, and you can either I can't remember what the choices are exactly, but basically it's essentially push him off the bridge or jump off yourself. And because of that,
Hmm.
you end up in two different spots in the factory. Like you either end up in the sewery section down below, or you can just stay up because you pushed him off or whatever, and can go right in through the front
Does the
entrance.
sewers get you into the Dead Factory
Yeah,
too? Because
yeah.
I haven't
It's
taken that
just
route yet.
you're a lot closer to like the water sample if you fall off.
Okay, that's what I
We're
thought.
at
That's
I'm
what I
pretty sure
thought.
anyways, but I didn't do that on this most recent playthrough. I pushed him off
Yeah,
because fuck him.
I definitely pushed them off too on my
Yeah,
last.
I feel like most people would
Both
choose
of
that
my.
one.
Well, I played it 3 times, but I'm still working on my third run. I pushed him off both times. I was scared to find out what happens. But I'm gonna have to try that and get to the sewers. Electric. What did you prefer Nest 2 or the Dead Factory?
So I would say that much like on they're very different experiences. Uh, I was I like both of them.
Mm.
Dead Factory puzzles
Yeah,
probably just annoyed me a bit,
understandable.
but uh, but it was but like I said, coming into RE3, seeing this, it was a very different. It's a very different experience. I do like the Dead Factory, and like a lot happens down there. And but at the same time, I do enjoy Nest too. But I would say
But
I prefer
you
Dead.
experienced Nest 2 first because you played Resident Evil 3
Yeah,
remake before
Correct.
you played the original. So then that's fine. I guess I can empathize with that
It's the enemies just and the experience down there.
it
because
nest.
I did too. I got to experience Resident Evil 3 in its entirety before I experienced Resident Evil Nemesis in its entirety, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
But I did play the original. Yes, I played the original
But you
first.
didn't
But
experience
like
the
I
whole
said,
thing.
I couldn't get
Interesting.
past the
So
train
I'm the only
because
one
I
who
couldn't
played the original and experienced
in
all of
its
it
entire yeah.
multiple
With the little bit
times.
of time that I was able to play it, I struggled with trying to figure out how to get the fucking train going.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So there was a lot to do, and I didn't get a lot of time with it. I maybe played it for about 2 hours because I'm going to keep it real. My runs, even now, since I've only played it 3 times at this point in my life, it takes me a long time to get through that uptown and downtown section
Yeah.
to even get to the train to move on to like the later areas like St. Michael's Clock Tower and all that.
Yeah.
Which is the second act, I guess you would say, of the game, second and
Yeah,
third
which is
acts.
funny because in the remake, you start out at the train basically after Carlos saves you. You're like already there. I remember my
Yeah,
first time playing it. I was like, "What the fuck? We're already at the train? We just started the game." And then we were like
yeah.
moving the train, and like it was like, "Oh man!" Even though both games are probably similar in length for a first playthrough, the remake just felt so much faster because I played the original so much, and it just
Hmm.
felt like I don't know. For me personally, it just felt
Now,
like there wasn't as much there, and that you just and for a $60 game too, that was just crazy to me. Like I don't know.
I'm trying to remember now. Is there are hunters in the original, right? At some point,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
The first
remember.
hunter shows up with
Yes.
Okay,
Carlos in
so
the
they
hospital, but they have like red on them
yeah.
and shit. They're
Okay,
badass.
yeah.
They're
As I say, there's
badass
something different
looking.
about them.
Yeah, the hunters in RE3 are actually probably my favorite regular
Are those the
enemy.
hunter gammas? Does anybody know,
Don't know their names. I just know they're
or is
hunters.
that a different
There's
style?
also like the frog-looking hunters that show up too. That the remake changed into those big fuckers in the sewers that open their mouths up and but yeah, I don't know what I think you might be right. It might be Hunter Gamma. All I know is they're hunters. I'm not good with remembering specific names for them. I just know they're hunters
Yeah.
and they look cool as
You,
fuck. The ones in RE3, I love the design of
I,
them.
I think we've established the fact that we're not like the foremost authority on all the lore. We
Oh
are
no,
big fans of the game. We
yeah.
we know a lot of it.
For
Just
me,
you specifically from what we played. Me, I might know a little bit more because I listen to podcasts.
yeah.
I read the lore.
For me,
I read the books. I watch videos on the
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
So
you do, yeah. For me personally, it's just for me personally, it's almost all about gameplay. I just want the games
the
to be
games,
fun
yeah,
and like to be enjoyable, to be have like great music, which RE1, 2, and 3 all have great. The RE3 save theme, the music that play, it's the RE3 save theme is so great because it's just like it encapsulates exactly how you're feeling. Like you're safe, but you know what's out there. You know what's out there lurking. So and the same theme
hmm
I feel like really it makes you feel that like oh we're safe, but we know there's danger right outside that fucking safe
yeah.
room door.
Whereas like
And
we
I
talked about in the last episode, Resident Evil 2's music has like just a desperation feel to it. This
yeah.
one has like it has a safe quality to it, but
But
not
but
really.
but also yeah, but it's kind of like deceptive because you feel safe, but you know you're not actually safe though. Because when the
Hmm.
second you get out that door, Nemesis could be right there.
Were you guys worried in your first playthrough, especially? Well, mostly you, Colin, because you played it at a younger age than we obviously did. But were you ever worried at any point that the fucker was going to come busting through that door in the safe room and get your ass?
Absolutely. I
Oh,
did,
I knew.
dude.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Absolutely, bro. That shit was
Because
scary.
I watched videos.
And I was a little
I know
kid.
that he can do that.
Yeah, yeah. I was scared that he would. And speaking of that, I forgot to mention, just like the dogs in RE1 that jumping through the windows. You know what scared me the fuck out of me the most in RE3 original for the first time I ever played it was when
What was
when you're
that?
in the RPD and you come back down after getting like the Magnum or grenade launcher in the STARS office,
Okay.
and you
Yes.
get the lockpick there. That's what you're mostly there for is the lockpick. When you
Yes.
come back down, you hear a crash, and you're like, "What the hell's that?" Okay, whatever. Something might come up, maybe. I don't know. Then you go down the stairs, and then you're down the stairs, and you take just a couple steps, and boom, Nemesis comes crashing in right through the window at the base of the
Oh yeah,
stairway.
dude, that made me jump out of my
The first
socks,
time
man.
ever playing that as 10-year
Yeah.
old, 11-year old, however old I was, like holy
I had
shit.
the earphones on at full blast, and it was like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
And you
yeah.
don't have time to think either. You got like 1 second, and he's got a. I think that's the first time he has his rocket launcher too. By the way, he has a rocket launcher in that moment. And it's
Yeah,
just
I
like
think you're right on
it
that.
is the first time, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just like holy shit, get me the fuck out of here.
This fucking thing can use
Because
weapons too?
yeah,
Oh
because
man.
even if you're playing on easy, he's gonna kick your ass. But if you're playing on hard, it's like okay, either go to this room or go to the save room. Get the hell out of there because we are gonna get fucked up. And it was just such a
How do I like my
awesome,
Jill
scary moment.
sandwiches? Well done.
Nemesis can do that for you.
Yeah.
I think it's still
So
funny that like you get shot with a rocket launcher and you're fine. Like you can still be in like I think it's
she's
possible.
got that dodge, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, speaking of the dodge,
That's one thing I want to talk
go
about.
ahead.
Yeah,
Take it
the
away, Electric.
dodge.
I'll let you take it away.
I was playing the original.
Mm-hmm.
It's so frustrating
Mm-hmm.
to actually get the dodge.
Rookie.
In the original,
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Yes.
kidding.
yeah. I mean, it kind of seems random at first, but then once you kind of start figuring out how the mechanics of that works,
Yeah.
it becomes,
A little more easy to do, but
excuse me, it becomes easier as you like
to this
to
day
pull it
though,
off.
it
I
still
I
is.
think that there's a certain, I think that there's a certain notion or semblance of luck with it
I was just
too,
about to say, even to this
and
day, I'm pretty good
or
at doing
maybe it's
it.
more timing.
There is timing and stuff, but to this day, I still think it feels like, anyways, there's a bit of randomness to it, no matter how good you are at doing it. I'm sure there's
Yes.
professional speedrunners that know how to do it 100% of the time, just like that. I've never been able to do it 100% of the time, but
But
I'm
it's
pretty
like a
good at it
button tap in
nowadays.
the remake.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a button tap. Whereas in the original, it's like you have to be hitting the right combination on your direction
that's
pad
another thing.
with the shoulder button
Yeah,
and da
that's
da
that's
da.
another thing I like about remake. I do like the dodge in remake. I think it's. I don't want to say I like it better or worse. It's different and I like it. I will praise that about the
Yes,
remake also. I think the dodge
yes.
was good in remake.
So, we're getting towards the end of the show here. We're about an hour
That's
in.
funny because I
We
still
try
have
to
so
keep
much
these.
more.
Yeah. Is there? Well, we can go a little bit
Nah,
longer,
it's
but
fine. Whatever
we'll
you want
try
to
to
do.
we'll try to wrap it up here in the next, I don't know, let's say, 10 to 20 minutes. But if there are any other final thoughts or things you guys would like to say about this fucking beautiful masterpiece, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis,
Well,
now's your chance.
I like remakes. So many references to so many different like movies and shit at the beginning. You see all these posters
Hmm.
and shit. Just another thing I want to praise remake on because I feel like I shit on it all the time. Uh,
Okay.
they
That's
reference.
fair enough because you definitely like to shit on it.
I do,
Yep, you definitely
But
do.
and I
that's okay. That's okay. That's fair.
it's
That's
only
fair.
because it's not because I hate remake because I don't. It's because I love the original and it's my favorite. That's why I shit on remake so much. I like remake though. I think it's a decent remake and it's a damn good game. But I do think it could have been better. It definitely could have been better. Whereas
Hmm.
RE1, 2, and 4 remake technically probably could have been a little bit better, maybe, but I still think they're 10 out of 10s. Whereas RE3 remake, I believe, is like an 8 out of 10. Anyways, there's lots of
Is that
references.
an official? Is that an
Yes, it
official
is.
call-in ranking?
Yes, it
Because
is.
all right, so we got that. So let's get a ranking from you, Electric. Where do you rank Resident Evil 3
I'm
Nemesis
gonna just smoke my
and its
extraterrestrial
remake?
cigarette.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of pressure.
Okay,
Go
it's
now. You
fine.
got
We
5 seconds. Go.
Okay.
some people don't like to do rankings, but here at the Biohazard Bros podcast, we like to rank these games.
I'm ranking
It's
all the
it's our
time.
and it's not an official ranking. This is all
I'm
opinion.
gonna rank, and I'm gonna
It's
rank
all
your ranking.
subjective.
So
Oh
there's no
no.
But
pressure.
where do you rank these? Where do you rank these games on a scale of 1 to 10?
Okay, for this OG one, I think I'd rank it a solid 7. A lot of
How
it
dare
being
you? I'm just
The
kidding.
7?
No,
Holy
I'm
shit!
totally kidding. Go on.
I
I respect that. Go on.
yeah, a lot of it is I enjoy the experience. It's just me and playing with controls that were designed for a different era.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Uh, but a lot of it I enjoyed, and then uh, remake
Hmm.
I'd probably give it around there 7,
Oh, really?
about a 7 as well.
Wow. No way.
Okay.
Come on. You would give it higher than that, wouldn't you? Be
No,
honest.
after seeing some of the stuff in
You
our
are allowed to do points. You
So
could do like a
what?
point five.
Wait. I gave remake a higher score than you. You saying? I gave remake an 8. I figured you would give it at least a 9. So
yeah, okay, yeah. I would put it at like an 8, but like you
Okay.
said, upon playing this content, but purely as its own game, I would probably give it an 8. But
But
in comparison,
you do like the remake
yes,
I
a
was just
lot better than you like the original.
yeah,
yeah,
Is
yeah,
the
and
point?
I was just
Okay.
fucking around with you, man. You can
That's fair
hey, you
enough.
can
No,
rate it
yeah,
whatever
you
you
rank them
want.
what you want.
Yeah, I was
Hell,
just fucking around, man.
you can rank them 1 or 2 or 3. It's your
Yeah, yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
We'll just kick you off the show
Yeah, we'll
after
just
that. But
never
no,
be friends with you ever again.
no. Anyways,
Totally kidding.
um, so anyway, I really appreciate you guys coming on, Electric. It
I
was nice having
appreciate
you
you
on
guys coming
and to
on.
hear your voice. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. We're hoping for a very big surprise for the next episode. We're not guaranteeing
Ooh,
anything, so we're just gonna tease that we're hoping that we were going to originally do uh, Code Veronica, but it's nice to take a little break from doing the numbered entries or whatever the main entries in order in a linear fashion, and have a little bit of a surprise guest hopefully come on, where we will be able to actually kind of around the time the celebration of the 29th. Is it the 29th anniversary of Resident Evil now?
sounds about right.
20
Yeah,
29
yeah.
years, or is it
29.
20
No, it's 29. 2026 will
29
be.
years?
Yeah, because it came out in
Yeah,
'96. So
and 30. Yeah, because the game Resident Evil was originally dropped, I believe, in June, on June 1st, was it not? Uh, in
in Japan or
1996.
in
No, in America.
America, maybe. Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So we're coming up on the no, I'm sorry, not June. I misspoke. April 1st, or
Oh,
at the
was
end
it?
of May.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
wow.
I don't know why I said June.
June. Well, it's
I
because
meant,
RE1
yeah.
takes place in June.
And yeah, well, that's what it is.
That's what it
RE1
is.
takes place
Yeah,
in June. Yeah. I said there's a reason why June was on my mind. No, in April,
yeah.
I believe Resident Evil was released either on April 1st or somewhere around then, 29 years ago. So we'll be having our special guest hopefully on for a special
And
29-year
let's just
celebration
throw this
of the
out there.
Resident Evil
If
series.
that doesn't fall through, what will we be? Well,
Well, if it falls through and it doesn't happen,
yeah.
we'll continue with our Code Veronica discussion.
Sounds good.
Well,
Uh, and then we're
I'm looking forward to it either way.
Yeah, but I think that this is probably a solid thing because hopefully our special guest, he seems pretty legit. He's eager to like respond to messages and all that. And like I said, we're not really going to say what or who, but obviously
It'll
it's
probably
somebody
be a
big in the Resident
surprise.
Evil space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, really appreciate you guys coming on. Really appreciate you guys who listen. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe on either one of our channels. Kenjira, I believe it's 80 on. Is it 80 on YouTube or 1980? I
1980.
don't
I
know.
think it's
I don't.
1980 on
Yeah,
YouTube, but you're
on
80 on
YouTube.
Twitch.
Yeah, on 80 on Twitch. And then Colin 255
On
on
YouTube.
YouTube. Don't forget to give us a like, a subscribe. We are also on Spotify, where you can give us a review, you can give us a like and a follow. It really helps with the algorithms.
On Colin
Thank
255 or
Yeah.
Colin BFG 255 on Twitch, and Colin spelled
And
with two L's.
yes, and with 2 L's. And Electric, is there anything that any projects that maybe you're thinking of doing that you'd like to plug, or channels or streaming services or whatever, anything, social medias for people maybe, to connect with you if you're doing anything. If not, that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I go by the Electric Saket on both Twitch and YouTube. Haven't made any new content recently, but maybe eventually I'll
Nice.
uh, start making some content.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully, and we've inspired you to do something if it's
Yeah, yeah,
something that you're into doing.
definitely.
This is kind of we like to have fun here and just have fun with it.
Hell
So
yeah. And yep. Awesome
so thank
cure.
you guys. Yep, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been another episode of the Biohazard Brothers podcast, and we will catch you next week. You guys take care.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Biohazard Brothers Podcast.